The countdown has begun for Harry Styles' solo album, and here are the 6 things we know about his album so far. Today's episode of Newsfeed is brought to you by Pandora Premium, where you can search and play your favorite songs. Pandora, sounds like you. Pouring his heart and soul out isn't the only thing Harry Styles did on his solo album. Only a couple more weeks until Harry's solo album makes its debut into the world, and since we're all huge Harry fans here, we just had to compile a list we know about the singer's solo album so far. Starting with the fact that the album's title wasn't originally supposed to be named after, well, Harry himself. In this Rolling Stone spread, it was revealed that Harry actually settled on naming the solo album Pink, mainly because The Clash's Paul Simonon once said pink is the only true rock and roll color. But pink was eventually passed on, and he ended up calling the solo record after himself. Another fun fact about Harry's debut album, it was recorded in England, California, and surprisingly enough, Jamaica. According to the magazine Harry, his producer Jeff Bhasker and his band recorded a bunch of songs for 2 months last fall in Jamaica, where both Rihanna and Drake both previously recorded music. Harry really got to find himself as a writer on this album. Sure, he's written songs as part of One Direction in the past, but the singer doesn't really count those as writing credits. He said, quote, "I think it was tough to really delve in and find out who you are as a writer when you're just kind of dipping your toe in each time. We didn't get 6 months to see what kind of you can work with. To have time to live with a song, see what you love as a fan, chip at it, hone it, and go for that. It's heaven." As for the music on his album, expect those songs to be about things that Harry actually lived. Harry said, quote, "I didn't want to write stories. I wanted to write my own stories, things that happened to me. The number one thing was that I wanted to be honest. I hadn't done that before." A super honest album from Harry. I can definitely get behind that. Harry also revealed that the album is centered around a recent relationship that basically consumed his life. He opened up to the outlet saying, "She's a huge part of the album. Sometimes you want to tip the hat, and sometimes you just want to give them the whole cap and hope that they know it's just for them." Although he doesn't necessarily name the person that the music is about, he does mention it's recent, which led quite a few people to believe that he's possibly referring to the are they or aren't they relationship with Kendall Jenner. And last but not least, we all learned that Harry loves to write about love. Whether it's the easiest thing to write about or it's the hardest, it's definitely something that everybody can relate to. He said, "The one subject that hits the hardest is love. Whether it's platonic, romantic, loving it, gaining it, losing it, it always hits you the hardest. I don't think people want to hear about me talking about going to bars and how great everything is. The champagne popping, who wants to hear about that? I don't want to hear about my favorite artists talk about all the amazing they get to do. I want to hear, how did you feel when you were alone in that hotel room because you chose to be alone?" That is some pretty deep stuff right there. What are you most excited to hear from Harry's debut solo album? As always, leave your comments in the section below, and don't forget to subscribe to Clevver News. I'm your host, Ashley Canetti. Thank you so much for tuning in. Click to the left to see what Harry said about the meaning of Sign of the Times. Thanks again to Pandora for sponsoring this episode. Now with Pandora Premium, where personalized radio meets on-demand listening, it's the only music app you'll ever need.